Well, good afternoon and welcome to Marshalltown High School on this joyous occasion. My name is Adib Pomvisai and I am proud to serve as the principal of Marshalltown High School. We are grateful and honored that you are here in person to celebrate our tremendous momentum in the fundraising efforts in renovating our beloved Roundhouse, which is just right behind you. We'd also like to acknowledge all the other Bobcats across our community and our nation who could not be here in person, but who send their words of encouragement and support. Before our brief remarks and introduction of our guest of honor, I'd like to first recognize some critical friends and public servants who have worked so diligently in our efforts to raise funds and garner support. Our community fundraising co-chairs, Mr. Gary Shout, Ms. Heather Van Buren, and Ms. Cynthia Ragland. Would you please give them a hand? Also in attendance is our superintendent of schools, Dr. Marvin Wade. Dr. Wade, are you in the crowd? Thank you, Dr. Wade, over there. And we have our board president, Sherm Welker, board vice president, I apologize, Miss Wilson, Jennifer Wilson. I apologize to you, Miss Wilson. And other board members, John Johnson, Miss Kay Beach, or any other board members present at this time. Mr. Shrum, thank you very much. Please give them a hand as well. And our new athletic director standing behind me, Mr. Craig Hegel. I also want to thank our pep band on a last-minute call to be here. The best pep band in the state of Iowa, no doubt about it, led by Mr. Brett Intham today. And there are many students and coaches and student athletes who, after this presentation, will be offering tours of the Roundhouse. We want to thank them for being here and showing our school spirit. So thank you, students, for being here and supporting our efforts. Let's give them a hand as well. The MHS mission statement declares that we are shaping tomorrow today. Renovating and rebuilding our Roundhouse is precisely shaping the future of our students and our community today. Our iconic Roundhouse is so much more than a high school gymnasium or an athletic facility. The Roundhouse is a powerful symbol of our school and community strength and vitality. It's a place of learning and of all manners of activities that bring us joy and form lasting memories. It's a gathering place that honors our Bobcat pride and our long history of school and community success. Restoring this beautiful place to its original grandeur and making it again a source of community pride is a critical mission. Improving student achievement is the first order of business at MHS. MHS has a long history of academic, fine arts, performing arts, athletic, and activity success. We are about doing that work right now and reviving a sense of school and community pride through our students' academic achievements. In the past few years, we have seen a remarkable increase in our level of student engagement and attendance. We know that students who are involved in athletics and activities and those who attend on a school on a regular basis and feel connected to their school and proud of our school are more likely to achieve at higher levels. Due to this engagement, we have seen a significant increase in the number of students passing courses and many, many more students on track to graduate on time. As a result, we saw an 8% increase in our graduation rate to 85.01% in the class of 2012. This is the highest it's been in over a decade. Developing rigorous and relevant curriculum is a high priority. This fall, as many of you know and have read, MHS will implement a new pre-engineering and biomedical sciences program called Project Lead the Way. These academic improvements go hand in hand with facilities improvements, and the Roundhouse renovation is no exception. Having clean, safe, and state-of-the-art facilities gives our students a sense of pride, respect, and the advantage they need in an ever-increasing competitive global environment. None of this would be possible without community and business support, strong leadership in our school board and administration. Your contributions to the Roundhouse renovation is so much more, again, about renovating a gym. It's about increasing student achievement and community pride. It's about shaping tomorrow, today. Each one of us gathered here this evening has our own memories of the Roundhouse. You've either competed here, forged lasting friendships here, and may have even sat on the floor of the Roundhouse at your own graduation commencement ceremonies. I've heard many amazing stories of a packed Roundhouse full of standing-only crowds that have cheered on our teams for many years. In fact, so much so, it has inspired our team to work even harder so we can have these similar experiences for our students today. But in order for us to have these experiences and to be able to compete in our conference, in our state, renovating and rebuilding our Roundhouse is a must. In order for our students and your children to have that competitive edge, they need and we must provide them the best resources possible. Our community needs to have an impressive focal point whereby we can recruit students, families, and business to come live, work, and learn in Marshalltown. So thank you again for your support of this important endeavor. Thank you for your generosity and the monetary support in shaping our students' futures today. Speaking of making memories of our own, I understand that one of our community fundraising co-chairs has certainly left his mark here in MHS history and lore with his notorious surfing abilities at all home basketball games. So ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome a member of the MHS class of 1983 and our community fundraising co-chair, Mr. Gary Wipeout Shout, to the podium, please.
30 years ago that happened. A lot less weight back then and a lot more hair, I'll tell you that. But just like our current situation with the Roundhouse, another thing happened about 30 years ago. In fact, it happened 30 years and 2 months ago, about to the day. Back on May 2nd of 1983, individuals such as yourself were invited out to Elmwood Country Club, at which time the campaign to fund this auditorium began. Now, they had a reception and dinner. Those spendthrifts still made their money, but it was only $975,000. 30 years ago, that's a good chunk of change. Today, we're here to ask for your support in helping us raise $3.85 million. Just as they did back in 1983 and 84 to build this wonderful auditorium, it's a goal and something we can achieve here through all of your community support. Dee touched on some of the things. We're kind of preaching to the choir tonight when we talk about why in the heck should you give money to the Roundhouse. It's a school system. Thank goodness our school board has put in the first $9.1 million. We talked with the school board. I'm glad to see some dirt out here, some progress going on. It may not look like it's going to the Roundhouse, but without that electrical project going out there, what's going to happen in that Roundhouse wouldn't happen. So I'm glad you had to go over some dirt here, and thanks for doing it to get here. But about $4 million of what's going to happen in that Roundhouse is nothing sexy. It's nothing you will see other than this electrical pipe. You'll see sprinkler system, mechanical systems being raised, things that aren't sexy at all. But that's where then next we come in the phase of the point of that $9.1 million is to get that thing back to the iconic state it was back in 1964 and 65. Dee talked about, once again, some of the reasons. Why do we do this? Student achievement. There's all sorts of studies out there. We've got things, I think, heading in the right direction here in Marshalltown. But there's been all sorts of studies that show that people that participate in athletics, they have higher GPAs, they have lower absenteeism, they have higher graduation rates, they are less likely to use drugs, tobacco, or suffer for other health problems. Basically, what we're trying to do with this is encourage kids to be students now and citizens later. Also, it's not just an athletic facility. It's, once again, one of the main places in Marshalltown that people come to see and what they leave Marshalltown as. Had one individual who's here in the crowd tonight tell me that when he was recruited to work at Emerson, the first place they took him wasn't Emerson, they took him here to the Roundhouse. And we want them to come back here, and the Roundhouse will be something proud that goes on there. It's an important aspect of our educational system in recruiting and retaining our workforce. It's a lot about students, but it's also about getting a good workforce here who wants to, as Adi says, who wants to live here, learn here, and work here. We all think that 330 and Highway 30 being 4-lane now is the deal. It is the deal. Boy, we can get to Des Moines in a hurry, we can get to Ames in a hurry. Well, guess what? People can leave work and head up that 30 and head up 330. They can go there for entertainment. We want them to have reasons to stay here, live here, entertain here, and learn here. That's one of the reasons that we want this Roundhouse and what it's such an iconic piece of Marshalltown. Also, this wasn't just a fundraising group that came up with this idea. Hopefully a few of you remember Imagine 2011, 7 big ideas by 2011. By 2011. The number 6 point out there was renovating the Roundhouse. So 7 big ideas by 2011. Thank you for your patience. But I also want to thank some people for their impatience. I'm going to start with the Assistance League Sustainers and Endowment. They didn't wait around for us to bring them a brochure to tell them, hey, we need some money for the Roundhouse. They came through with a $5,000 check without asking. The Assistance League is out having dinners to raise, which we hope by heard is a number that's well into the 5 figures. Thank you for the Assistance League for doing that. The class of 1961, including the class at the St. Mary's School, they didn't go through this Roundhouse. They weren't here for any of this. But they were one of the first classes to call to say, how can we help? Can you come talk to our class to tell us what's happening with the Roundhouse? Class of 1973 just had a reunion here about 3 weeks ago. I think they started calling me 8 months ago asking for brochures. And they had a nice turnout, and they did a nice job for helping us. Other businesses, and I'm sure I'm going to leave some out, but United Bank and Trust, there was a check sitting on my desk last December before we asked. H&F Distributing, met with a D, handed him a check without asking. Great Western Bank, same thing. Had a family here. Got 6 checks in the same envelope. Father, brother, 4 children. Every one of them wrote a check and had a description of why the Roundhouse meant something to them. Had a veteran out at the veterans home send us a check. I've never met the gentleman, don't know anything about it, but he did it in memorial of his brother. So those kind of people we didn't have to ask, and we thank them for their impatience of not waiting for us. So once this money comes in, what's all going to happen in there? There's going to be some significant improvements and upgrades. My dad's in the crowd. I hate watching him going up and down those bleachers. I didn't like it 20 years ago. I don't like it now. I don't like carrying him. Thank God he's a little man. The gym floor, obvious. There's an obvious change that's in there. We won't be able to be on the floor tonight because they're actually sealing it again. Locker rooms. Back in 1964-65, when the Roundhouse was built, there weren't girls' athletics. The facility wasn't built to accommodate girls' athletics. You know, close to 50 years later, we've got plenty of girls' athletics going on, and we need to get those upgraded to the standards they need to be. We'll be adding new locker rooms for visitors so that we don't have 3 or 4 teams sharing the same locker rooms. New entrance. Right now, we go in on the east side. We walk in, and we're in a tunnel. We're looking up at some piping and those sorts of things. It's going to move over so that when our visitors walk into the Roundhouse, they're exposed to the Roundhouse. They're walking into some aura. I've seen some of the gyms that we're competing against. Yeah, they're nice and they're new, but they're not big and impressive like our Roundhouse is. New Hall of Pride. Nothing against our Wall of Pride, but unless you're one tall dude, you're not seeing who's up at the top of that thing. You can't read the name. Some of the people, glad you can't see the face, but we want the Hall of Pride to be down where we can see it and not only honor individuals but also honor teams that go along with that. New auxiliary gym right outside the door here on the footprint of the Roundhouse, not in front of the auditorium. We've got teams practicing at 5 o'clock in the morning, 9:30 at night. I don't know how good that is for their academics and whatnot, but we need to get it so they can practice at appropriate times here. Also, economic development, adding auxiliary gym, upgrading our Roundhouse leads to plenty more opportunities for economic development of getting tournaments in here to help our restaurants, hotels, and hopefully that will spread throughout. New weight room. Thank you to whoever helped with the weight room in the past. It was the right thing at the right time. We're talking about putting on a triple the size weight room with some of the new state-of-the-art type of equipment that our athletes and students deserve. The bricks that are in there, they'll be taken care of. We appreciate those donations from the past. They'll be taken care of. But we are in need of a larger weight room to compete in today's world. New wrestling room. I say new. How about just a wrestling room? Did Mike Mann just do a cartwheel? Give his dad the old fireman's carry? We can't let you tour the wrestling room because it's down the street at Anson School. So in the winter, the kids are walking down the street, and it's not a room, it's 3 or 4 rooms, in which one of them actually used to be a toilet and locker room. They deserve better. Anybody hot out there? It's going to be air conditioned. And if that doesn't work, there'll also be a sprinkler system. So there's going to be many, many improvements. But after all is done, changes, improvements are there, that building will still be proud to be round. But there's a lot of work to be done. I mentioned $3.85 million. It's the biggest number I know of us raising in the community in the past. But I know you can help make it happen. Not only our community is, when I speak to people, I tell them our community isn't just Marshalltown. Our community is the globe. We have alumni throughout the nation, even in Europe and every place else, that think the world of this place. And we're going to, through Facebook, through internet, contact these people. We've already gotten donations from California, Missouri, Wisconsin, Illinois, Texas, and Minnesota. And that's without much fundraising at all. Once again, I'll be amiss without saying thank you to Heather and Cynthia for all they've been doing. I mean, they've been just workhorses in this thing. John Hughes helped us during the design phase. Much appreciated. The Booster Club, thanks for all you've done and what you're going to do. But I'm here to ask for your donation tonight. I mean, it's not just a matter of a little pep rally here. We need your donations. You should have a brochure here tonight. You have the ability to give over a 3-year period of time. We'd love to front-end load that as much as you can, because the sooner we get the dollars, the sooner the buildings, the phase 2s go up. Understanding that it is a 501(c)(3) tax deductible. And so we're asking for your donations to go along with our army of alumni reps that will be sending us in money. So we're going to fundraise till it's done. But we'd like that to happen sooner than later. And with that, I want to thank you in advance for your generous contributions. Thank you.
At this time, we'd like to direct your attention to the main entrance.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is David Tank, and I have never been a special guest in my life. I'm 54 years old, so it's a thrill. And I'm guessing this might be one of the few opportunities I'll have to be a special guest, so I appreciate that. I am the Vice President of the Martha Ellen Ty Foundation, and am pleased to, on behalf of the foundation, announce today a $1 million grant in support of the Roundhouse. I'll be brief. I know it's really warm in here, and I appreciate everybody's coming out and participating in this. As I said, my name is David Tank. I'm a 1977 graduate of Marshalltown High School. You know, when I think of Marshalltown High School, I think of the Roundhouse. And some of my early memories of Marshalltown and growing up as a kid are sitting in the Roundhouse, packed, watching Marshalltown play Ames and playing basketball. It was a surreal experience. It's just amazing to be in that building as a kid growing up in Marshalltown. I grew up here. My parents are both gone now, but I come back to Marshalltown to visit as a member of the Martha Ellen Ty Foundation. Martha Ellen Ty was my grandmother, and she loved Marshalltown. She expressed her love for Marshalltown in many ways and was a force of nature to those of you who may have known her. She would express her love by getting down and scrubbing floors, by cleaning up after events. It was amazing to watch her commitment to this community. And it is through her generosity and forethought that we can continue her vision and her philanthropic approach perpetually to help this wonderful community in the name of her foundation. It's a real honor to be her grandchild and to be able to extend her vision into the future, which is what this community is all about. There's a wonderful quote from Martha Ellen, and she was not a very practiced public speaker. She didn't like to speak in public. She wanted to be anonymous to the extent possible, but the demands on her were such that occasionally she had to address a group like this. And the quote that I found that I think is so appropriate today is, and I'll just read it to you. She said, "I love Marshalltown. I was born here, and it will always be home to me. I want it to prosper and grow. It should never be the same. My goal for the foundation is that it will help Marshalltown after I'm gone." What well said. And I couldn't say it any better. Listening to the speakers about the alumni in Marshalltown and what sort of a close connection we all have is true. I have relocated, as have some of my peers and my friends and my classmates, but I don't think any of us really felt that we ever left Marshalltown. And when we come back, we don't feel like we're visiting Marshalltown. We feel like we're coming home. And it's a very special place, unlike any place I've ever been. And as my grandmother said, I will repeat, Marshalltown will always be my home. It will always be my hometown, and I'm so thrilled to be able to help this Roundhouse on behalf of this foundation. I was reminded that in 2006, my father announced the support of this foundation for another project in Marshalltown, the public library, which just a great success and a symbol of what good can be done by people who care about their hometown. And I think when we were first approached to participate in this project, we were not a very hard sell. I think it's safe to say that we listened to the pitch and we heard the plans, but if there was ever a project that would be a perfect candidate for the vision of my grandmother and to do good in this community for everyone, it was the Roundhouse. This building behind us or in front of me, it's just amazing. It's a unique structure in so many ways. And when I think of Marshalltown, I think of the Roundhouse. It is a school facility. It is a community facility. So many things, so many important events have happened there. And we have to do what is necessary to preserve that. And whenever I come back, I know that the people who are now in charge of this community, who are the custodians of these wonderful buildings and these memories, will make this happen. The energy level is phenomenal. Addie came from West Des Moines, and I went to West Des Moines. I think he got the better of the deal. And this is going to happen, and we challenge everyone in the room to contribute to this project. And again, thank you so much for letting me give you this honor.
Thank you again, Mr. Tank. I'd also like to invite my friend and new Executive Director of the Martha Ellen Ty Foundation, Ms. Karen Gregory. She's right here behind us. Would you please give her a hand as well? Mr. Tank, Mrs. Gregory, again, thank you. Thank you to the entire Martha Ellen Ty family and to the members of your board for your tremendous generosity and your investment in our students and families of Marshalltown. Martha Ellen's legacy and philanthropic spirit is alive and well in our community because of your leadership. Your astonishing $1 million challenge grant validates our existing donors' commitment to the Roundhouse additions. It has set a precedent for others to give generously towards this community project. We vow our hard work to raise the remainder of the funds necessary to achieve our goal of $3.85 million. Thank you for the tremendous momentum of your gift and the work that this will generate. This concludes our formal announcement, but we warmly invite you to stay. Invite you to stay and take a tour of the Roundhouse. Our student athletes and coaches will take small groups throughout the Roundhouse to show you our urgent need to continue our work in restoring this beautiful place. Thank you again for your attendance this afternoon, and let's go, Bobcats, go.